Good afternoon, welcome to MS3 Craven Park. It's round 23 of the Stobart Super League, and Hulkingston Rovers take on the World Club champions, the Leeds Rhinos. Rovers come into this game on the back of that good win against the Widnes Vikings, in which Craig Sandercock blooded several of the youngsters at the club, some who get a chance this afternoon, but once again the head coach has been forced into making changes. There is some good news though with the return of a couple of injured players, so the Robins will line up as follows. In the backs, at fullback, wearing number 27, sponsored by All Pet Food, Lewis Sheriff. On the right wing, wearing number 21, sponsored by Renewables Network, Sam Latus. At right centre, wearing number 18, sponsored by Quick Tough, Graham Horn. Wearing number 29, at left centre, sponsored by the Insurance Partnership, Liam Salter. And on the left wing, wearing number 5, sponsored by EYS, David Hodgson. Returning to the side at standoff, wearing number 19, sponsored by JC Services and Son Limited, Scott Morell. And the scrum half for the Robins, wearing number 7, sponsored by JC Services and Son Limited, Michael Dobson. And now the forwards. Lining up in the front row, wearing number 8, sponsored by ClearTech Waste Services, Joe Clinton. At hooker, wearing number 9, sponsored by A1 Tyre Services, Josh Hodgson. And making up the front row, wearing number 17, sponsored by Techno Solutions, Ryan O'Hara. Into the second row, and a welcome return from injury for number 13, sponsored by the 1 Point, Reese Lovegrove. Partnering Reese in the second row, the skipper of Hulkingston Rovers, sponsored by A&M Engineering, wearing number 12, Ben Galea. And lining up at loose forward, sponsored by Anthony's Wedding and Bridal Hire, Dave Peterson, wearing number 28. The bench this afternoon for Hulkingston Rovers, wearing number 14, sponsored by KMS Facilities Group, Lincoln Withers. Returning from a one-match absence, wearing number 10, sponsored by AA Jones Electrical, Scott Taylor. Wearing number 23, sponsored by the Hull KR Fans Forum, Mickey Payer. And retaining his place in the 17, wearing number 26, sponsored by Rescue Jet, George Griffin. The Robins head coach, Craig Sandercock, sponsored by SJS Flooring Specialists. And now the lineup from Brian McDermott, the Leeds Rhinos, the World Club champions. They line up as follows. Zach Hardacre will be the fullback. A three-quarter line of Ben Jones-Bishop, Callum Watkins, Carl Ablett and Ryan Hall. Kevin Sinfield and Danny Maguire make up the halves. And in the engine room, they'll be led by Carly Luluai, Rob Burrow and Jamie Peacock. Jamie Jones-Buchanan and Stevie Ward in the second row, with Brett Delaney the loose forward. On the bench, Ryan Bailey, Chris Clarkson, Daryl Griffin and Sean Lunt. The Rhinos, of course, coached by Brian McDermott. Today's referee is Tim Roby. Leeds coming into this game on the back of a surprise defeat to the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats, and a heavy defeat it was as well. They bring back Carl Ablett into the centres, and Brett Delaney comes in at loose forward, so pretty much a full-strength Leeds Rhinos outfit. Gary is a man who made his name blooding youngsters at Hulkingston Rovers some 10-15 years ago. You must be delighted to see some of the names on the team sheet, the likes of Lewis Sheriff, Dave Peterson, George Griffin, Liam Salter.
Absolutely, it's great to see it, and I hope to see more of it in the coming few years. I'll just give Dave Peterson a big round in particular, because I think that kid is full of action and full of enthusiasm, and I think you described it just in our little chance before we come on air. The fact that he's a little bit like Ben Cockade in his all action sort of approach to the game, and that can lift us out when sometimes things are a little bit difficult. But we've got some other kids that was waiting to come back in as well. Chris Hill made his debut last week. He misses out this week for whatever reason, but it'd be better for the experience that. So for me, the more young kids you can get in there, the better it is. So it's good to see.
The Rhinos have entered the field of play. We're just awaiting Hull Kingston Rovers, who will be led out by Ben Galea. The noise levels rise as the Rovers skipper number 12 leads on the side. So it's going to be the Leeds Rhinos to get this game underway. Kevin Sinfield takes possession of the football. A big test for the Robins, this one. If the top 8 aspirations are to stay intact, the ball is drilled long and low. It was collected by Dobson, and the first drive in is by Joel Clinton this afternoon. He's driven back by the Rhinos defensive line, so no Webster, Heel, Blake Green and James Laithwaite to the side that beat Widnes last week. In come Latus, Morell, Lovegrove and Taylor. Rovers have possession though, still inside their own 20. O'Hara just turned and dumped onto the floor. Josh Hodgson goes to the short side. The first drive in for the returning Reese Lovegrove. He plays the ball midway inside the Rovers half. Good scoop by Josh Hodgson. Gets to within 10 of halfway. It's on the last, so Dobson will kick left-footed. It's a long one. It's fumbled by Jones Bishop. Goes backwards, says the referee Tim Roby. Decent set there, Gary. Rovers didn't make too many yards, but then the kick was a decent one, and the Leeds winger almost makes a hash of that one.
Yeah, for Leeds part, the tackle 3 to 4 there, they control the tackle pretty well there, but Rovers made some good yards in the end with a quality kick, which ended up 20 metres away from their own try line. So, it was a good set there, and they'll need to keep doing that here.
This will be the acid test when the Rhinos have ball in hand. Delaney fractured his thumb, I believe, just a couple of weeks ago, so he's done well to get back to fitness so quickly. He plays the ball around 5 metres inside Rovers territory. The ball is hoisted up via the right boot of Danny Maguire. Underneath it for Rovers is the wingman Sam Latus. And Latus takes the tackle of Jamie Jones Buchanan just around 20 metres from his own try line.
A little bit of a confidence boost for Latus. He looks a little bit dodgy at times under a high ball. He took that very accomplished, and that'll give him some confidence for the rest of the game.
Oh, big shot goes in on Dave Peterson from Kylie Luluai. Real mismatch in size there, but the Rovers man gets up quickly and plays the ball. That was a good ball, and Lewis Sharif has gone into the gap. He's going to try and take on Hardacre. Slips, but Rovers have crossed halfway, and they picked an easy hole in the Leeds line then. Dobson could have been the missed out pass, and Rovers would have been stacked up. Penalty conceded by the Rhinos. I think Dobson took the wrong option there, Gary.
Yeah, I think he did. It was on, like you say, a face ball out to the centres here, and it most probably would have resulted in a try. But what a great break by Lewis Sharif. It just shows you a little bit of youth in his side, and you can bring and lift the side up.
So Rovers will have the first real attack of this game. We're coming up to just 3 minutes played. Dobson, the architect of all that Rovers seem to do well, just brings in the big men. Hodgson's at dummy half. He goes left-hand side. O'Hara takes on the line. Grounded 8 metres short. The Rhinos having to defend their line. Hodgson comes back to the right-hand side. Rovers moving the ball through hands. Good quick-fired ball from Morell. Found Lovegrove, but He was wrapped up by a good tackle from Jones Buchanan. Morell against his former side, just steps, tries to force his way over, 2 metres from that try line. Good enterprise, good positive start from Rovers. Peterson moves the ball, there's gaps there. O'Hara goes for the posts, cut down, but Rovers have a tackle remaining. Dobson, long ball, Graham Horn, can he switch? Oh, Graham Horn has reached over, he twisted and he got the ball down. It looks as though there was a chance, it was a difficult one, but the Rovers centre has opened the scoring. We've played just under 4 minutes and Rovers lead by 4 points to 0.
What a fantastic start by O'Hara there. What happened was they took the ball into this right hand side, attacking the Docks end, and they sucked a few of these defenders in there. They looked a little bit short on numbers, slow to get back, trying to even the defensive line out was Leeds there, and the ball's just come through some hands, and Graham Hall's done a tremendous job there, turning the tackle and actually pumped the ball down over the line. Most probably 3-4 metres in from that left-hand touch line on the east side, and it's a pretty difficult kick for a left-footed kicker, but we've seen Michael Dobson put these over before.
Prominent feature of that try, Gary, was the pace in which Rovers moved the ball from one side to the other. Every single player seemed to know what their role was in that attack. Graham Horn knew that it was all or nothing. Rovers were on the last tackle, he just went for it. And he showed strength, and of course Graham Horn was a double try scorer in the defeat at the Carnegie Headingley Stadium earlier in the season, that opening round, that freezing cold Friday night that we all remember. So he must enjoy playing against the Rhinos, the Rovers man. Dobson tries to just tickle that one over, and he has done. That's a great kick from Dobson, a great start from Rovers, who lead this game now by 6 points to 0.
Fantastic start, you can't do it better than that. And what I'll say to you, this is an important set. I always say this when I'm on the commentary, it's an important set. We don't want the wearers here. What we need is a set to be complete with a quality kick and chase and put Leeds under pressure straight away.
So Leeds have to restart once again. That's a bouncing ball which is eventually picked up by the ginger-haired left wingman David Hodgson, who gets the ball around 13 metres away from his own try line. This will be a big opening 20 minutes for the likes of Clinton and O'Hara, Gary, because the Leeds forwards are a big physical side and Rovers really need some go forward, and those two Australians need to provide it.
Yeah, absolutely. O'Hara in particular, I've rated that kid up. I mean, I was excited with his signing and what have you. Joe Clinton, some uncertainty whether he's going to be next year or not, but he started this game pretty well. Quite impressive in his 2 or 3 carries what he's put in up to now.
Rovers certainly looking to move the ball through the hands. Dobson gets the kick away despite the attentions of Danny Maguire, and it's picked up by the Leeds Rhinos. Big collision goes in on the young fullback Zach Hardacre. Sinfield at the play the ball, brings in another youngster, Ben Jones Bishop rather. In the tackle was Hodgson and Peterson. Here's Jones Buchanan now. Leeds edging towards the halfway. Burrow scoots, finds Ablett wrapped up by Liam Salter, who does well. The young centre gets a pass on the back from Josh Hodgson for his efforts there. Maguire just moves it onto, well, Jamie Peacock, a man who's had an absolutely fantastic career. Sinfield puts that one high. Lewis Sheriff watches that one bounce out of play, so Rovers will have the ball on the 20, and with just around 7.5 minutes played, Gary, it's been a good start to this game and a good start for the Robins.
An exceptional start, to be fair, Robert. Well done, Lewis Sharif, for watching that ball going dead and what have you, and get his teammates back on side. If he'd have gone for that, it was an awkward kick. He could have knocked that on and put Leeds back on the ascendancy. So, great play by Lewis Sharif there.
Wakefield showed on Monday night that enthusiasm and commitment can sometimes get you over that finishing line when they turn the Rhinos over. Bengalia just putting some doubt into the Rhinos' defensive minds, then just dummied but eventually took the tackle. Here's Dave Peterson, makes a good 10 metres or so forward, but Rovers only have 1 tackle remaining in this set. Morell goes high, and it's a good towering kick, that one. Hardacre's underneath it, does well, the young fullback, former Featherstone Rovers player, and with Brent Webb suspended, Gary, for 2 games, and having missed a big part of this season, not being retained, he looks as though he'll be the Leeds fullback for many years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. To be fair, even though Webb was available, he got one of the Tilbels games, he got brought off, and Zach Hardacre went back to the full-back straight away. So for me, that's where they see the future of the kid, and his all action, very, very good player, and I think they've got a good one for a while to come yet.
That penalty against Rovers has seen Leeds go up to halfway, where Rob Burrow gets them moving forward once again. JJB just crosses halfway, takes the 2-man tackle. Joel Clinton, the man completing it. Here's Jamie Peacock. He tried to twist and look for the offload, but Rovers standing firm at this moment in time. Sinfield centrefield just drops it short. A cry of forward goes up as, was it Delaney or Stevie Ward who took that ball in? It was Brett Delaney, the Australian. Luluai offloads. This is dangerous for Rovers. Jamie Jones-Buchanan just had to grab that one in at the second attempt, and it allowed the tacklers to get in. Sinfield now finds Maguire. Here's that youngster Stevie Ward, takes on Lewis Sheriff, offloads to Danny Maguire, a metre to the left-hand side of the post. Easy as you like. Maguire grounds the ball, and any second now the Rhinos will be tied up at 6 points apiece. And well, good play from the Rhinos, Gary, but Rovers just found wanting defensively there.
Yeah, there was, but to be fair, Stevie Ward, I mean, he's got some tremendous balance. He's put a side step on there, come to the line. Lewis Sheriff has made his tackle, but unfortunately he had his arms free, popped the ball up on the inside, and scored, for Leeds to score. But some great play from Salter, prior to that as well. He's come up with some good defensive shots in the game and done pretty well. But I'll say to you now that Stevie Ward will do that to some high quality players than what Rovers have got, with all due respect to them, because he's that kind of a player. He's a top-notch player, is Stevie Ward. But Rovers don't want to panic. They're still leading at this moment in time. It's most probably the level of score here, but they're still in the game.
So Kevin Sinfield with an easy conversion attempt to tie the scoreline up at 6 points apiece. Julia Blige is the lead skipper. We've played just coming up to 11 minutes played, and the scores are tied up. And well, over the years I would imagine that Danny Maguire has watched Gary Schofield playing in the Leeds colours at standoff, supporting every move, and he's certainly scored many tries, Maguire, on the back of the final pass.
He's a master at it, isn't he, Rob? He follows up any break. You see any break from Leeds, and it's invariably Maguire who's on his shoulder to finish the move off, and that's exactly what he's done. But he'll know Stevie Ward's strengths and what have you. He'll know that he gets his hands free, and it's great try from him. But like I say, Rovers don't need to panic here at this moment in time. Started pretty well. I just need to get back on the horse, as it were, control the set of 6 here.
Yep. A side of the quality of Leeds always capable of a score like that, but Rovers are doing okay. Ablett just skips away from Liam Salter and gives the running opportunity to Ryan Hall. Hall takes the tackle of Latus around 2 metres inside Rovers' half of the field. Ablett with the offload. Hardacre had joined the line and he found Danny Maguire. That goes backwards, says Sin Roby, and Leeds have an overlap. Hodgson and Horn, well, they needed to make that tackle, because had the ball gone out wide, Watkins and Ben Jones-Bishop would have had a free gallop down that right-hand touchline. Watkins scored a hat-trick against the Rovers in round 1. Sinfield, crossfield kick looking for Hall. It will bounce past the despairing arm of the Leeds left wing man. Good idea. And in terms of territory, it's still not a bad kick, Gary, because Rovers, although they get head and feed, they are only 10 metres out from their own line.
I want to give Dave Hodgson a big rap there, because that was a great read in defence there. He's had to shoot off his wing and snuff that attack out. Like you say, Rob, if he hadn't got that, there'd have been a 3-on-1 situation. You would have expected Leeds to score from that. But the kick's come in the corner. It's 10 metres away from Mulcair's line there, and the pressure's still on. Make sure that they come up with a pretty good set here and finish with a quality kick. That's all you can expect from your side at this moment in time. But Leeds are controlling the ruck area. I mean, you've got a good 7-second play of the ball in that play there. Ben Galea, for me, was the outstanding player in red and white last week at Widnes. Really did lead his side admirably around the park. Here's one of the youngsters, Dave Peterson. That mop of hair, the headband looks more of a tennis player than a rugby player, but certainly
knows his way around, and Josh Hodgson does really well then to get the offload away. Peterson, oh, that's a dangerous tackle. Brett Delaney wants to have a go at Michael Dobson now. Not particularly brave, is it, when a big forward wants to have a pop at a scrum half, but there you go. The officials are in and it's all calmed down.
Definite penalty. I mean, Dave Peterson was in a position of a spear tackle there. The referee didn't have much option there, and Michael Dobson just let it be known that he wasn't happy with the attention what he got, and put himself in there. But Delaney's reacted, and thankfully there's nothing come of it. Just a little bit of a telling off, and also a fine touch here. Then Rovers are back on the ascendancy.
I think this will go on report though, Gary, because it was certainly a dangerous tackle, because Peterson went head first into the turf. Yep, on report is the decision from Tim Roby. I think that had to be made. And Rovers get the penalty 30 metres away from their own line as the big man, the beast from the east, Mickey Payer, comes on to replace Joel Clinton. Dobson drills that one into touch, and Rovers will start 5 metres inside Leeds half of the field. Here's Benny Galea now. Ryan O'Hara runs at Delaney, who stands his ground as the man who's playing loose forward for the Rhinos this afternoon. Here's the big man, Mickey Payer. He went well at Widnes last week, and once again it takes 2-3 defenders to bring him down, and that was a dangerous one from Jones Buchanan. It was an attack to the body, Gary. Now, I suppose the tackle was still there to be made, but it really did go in hard and dangerous.
Well, it certainly makes some business there, that is for sure. And thankfully he's been pulled up for that, if you like, and it's a penalty, But it's like you say, Rob, there's nothing to stop somebody coming into the third man to try and complete the tackle. But I'm just watching this referee, and that, it's going to be interesting how he goes, and that, is it relatively inexperienced referee at Suckling level, but Rovers are 20 metres out now on the ascendancy.
14 and a half minutes played. Rovers are attacking the Leeds line once again. Peterson's held up in front of the posts, 16-17 metres out. Hodgson's got options both ways. He brings in the big man. He just goes hard and straight. Leeds stand firm. 3-man tackle brings Mickey Payer down. Hodgson's there again. Goes himself, Josh Hodgson, and that's enough to get the ground in. Josh Hodgson, second try of the afternoon for Rovers, and Rovers go back into the lead by 10 points to 6. And Josh Hodgson scored a similar try last week at Widnes. It's repeated the trick once again.
He looks as if he was going to go himself, pass the ball, but he went himself. Collided with the Leeds player, just fixed up the ball over most probably a couple of metres to the left-hand side of the post. Easy kick for Dobson here, but fantastic start. The Leeds pay for that penalty they conceded, so credit to OKR. They're looking pretty good at this moment in time, and they're impressing myself here, because as I say, I just thought they'd all been Leeds here, but they're showing plenty of spirit as Rovers, and well worth the lead at this moment in time. It's important again that this set here is completed, finished with a quality kick, keep putting the pressure on Leeds, that's what they need to do. As I say, this kick, you'd expect Dobson to put it here in between the posts to give OKR a 12 points to 6 lead.
Yep, Dobbo's just over 10 metres out, strikes it confidently, the flags are raised, and Rovers go back into the lead by 12 points to 6, and that's a good response to the try from Danny Maguire. Leeds, apart from that one attack, not really got into this game, Gary. I have to say, on the balance of the opening 16-17 minutes, Rovers deserve to be in front.
Oh, without a doubt, like we've talked before the game, young kids will give you loads of enthusiasm and lift aside and that, but this player carrying the ball now, Ryan O'Hara, has done a fantastic job up to now as well, carrying the ball pretty well. But on paper, the Leeds team look far superior, but Rovers are sort of dispelling that and putting a pretty good performance themselves. That's what you don't need.
I think Ben Galea may well hold his hands up for that one. Rees perhaps could have held it, but it was a risky ball, and two of your more experienced players there making an error only 19 metres out from the try line, having just scored a try. The danger bells are ringing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very dangerous position. I'm just watching Darrell Griffin coming here. Be looking forward to a tussle with his brother later on in the game, I would have thought, because George Griffin's on the bench, so it'd be an interesting tie here. But ball's being fed now, Leeds on the attack.
They are indeed. Sinfield brings in Callum Watkins, and Rovers' Josh Hodgson does well to stop the big man. Danny Maguire will be hunting as Rob Burrow gets Leeds moving forward once again. This is where Leeds are dangerous. The centre field have got options both ways. They're coming left by the looks of things. Here is Maguire. Jones Buchanan almost breaks the tackle of Hodgson. Leeds are only 3 metres out. Rob Burrow moves it to the other side once again. The run around between Peacock and Maguire. Maguire feeds Watkins, who takes on Horn. Oh, and that was knocked back by David Hodgson. Play on, says Tim Roby. Correct decision. Rovers a bit unlucky, but equally Leeds could have gone in on that right hand corner then as Stevie Ward straightens up the play once again. The Rhinos 11 metres in from that right hand touchline. They'll come from right to left. Here's Jamie Peacock. Collision with Mickey Payer. He twists away from Payer but can't evade the two-man tackle because Josh Hodgson was there. Burrow switches the play. Maguire with the kick. It's dropped on by Michael Dobson. And well, that will give the Rovers defence some confidence, Gary, because Leeds really were buzzing around then. Looked as though they were going to go in on a couple of occasions, but Rovers' line remains intact.
Maguire put that little kick through there, hoping somebody was going to come up that, but thankfully Dobson's dropped on the ball. He feels the situation, and Rovers now just need to make sure that they make use of this ball. Nothing stupid, finish with a quality kick. I've been saying that all game, but it's important because Leeds will punish you if you don't finish your sets.
Mickey Payer charges up in the middle of the field. It takes 4 Rhinos defenders to halt his progress. Midway inside the Robins half. It's a slow play of the ball though. Michael Dobson gets the kick away. It's high, but it will be a kind, easy one for Jones Bishop. Wearing that scrum cap as he always does. He goes down 10 metres from halfway. So Leeds asked to bring the ball forward once again by the red and white shirts as Ryan Hall came in field just to take some work off the forwards. Here is a forward with an offload. It's Peacock to Burrow. Burrow skips away from one, and Leeds have kept this ball alive. It's into the hands of Stevie Ward, who fires the ball over the top. Jones Bishop is grounded by the tackle of David Hodgson, but Leeds looking to become expansive now in this set. Delaney moves it to Sinfield. He gets the offload to Ryan Bailey, who has space in which to run. Morell does well just to hold him up, and the tackle was completed low down by O'Hara. Burrow finds a Hardacre. Maguire fires the ball. Hodgson with a good tackle on Watkins, who gets an offload away to Danny Maguire. Rovers standing off. The ball is lost by Leeds. And well, to sum up that passage of play.
Well, it was just a little bit off the cuff there, wasn't it? You know, there was nothing sort of definitely on. There was a passage of play on tackle 3, I think it was, where Maguire, you would have expected him to hit the all and take Rovers on. He never. But again, credit to David Hodgson there. He's just saved another try.
Here's a man returning from injury, Scott Taylor. He'll be looking for a big game. Disappointed to have missed out at Widnes last week. Can see Lincoln Withers is limbering up as well on the touchline, so that's a good substitution to be able to bring on as Galea just delayed the press and tried to bring in Dobson round the back into the hole, but Leeds defended that one well. Morell will need to get the kick away. He does so. It's taken by Hardacre, 15 metres from his own line. He runs the ball back and is met by 3 red and white shirts and taken down midway inside the Rhinos' half of the field. This is where the Robins want to play this game, Gary, but Leeds, as you can see, they can strike from anywhere, and Ryan Hall has skipped around the outside. He looks to take on Lewis Sheriff, but Reece Lovegrove, with that pace of his, got him back into the defensive line, and he saved the day. But Leeds really are now piling pressure on. A cry of forward goes up from the Roger Millward stand. Tim Roby allows the play to continue. The Rhinos are 10 metres out. Sinfield back on the inside to Ryan Bailey. Bailey takes the 2-man tackle. Taylor completed. Crash ball to Darrell Griffin. Held up, says Tim Roby. 22 minutes played, Rovers still lead by 6 points, but Leeds are now piling on the pressure.
Great defence work again from Ulkiar there. They are putting themselves about.
Kick over the top for Ryan Hall. He got that back in, did he? The flag has gone up at the very last second. Leeds aren't happy, but it's a turnover to Hull Kingston Rovers. Better late than never, I suppose, Gary, has to be the saying then, because if that flag hadn't have gone up, it looks a good grounding.
Well, he took some time to make a decision there, didn't he? But in the end, thankfully for Ulkiar, he made the right decision. But yeah, there were some questions being asked by the Leeds players why that wasn't given. But thankfully for Ulkiar, like I've just said, it wasn't given, and he's still in front.
A solid 23 minutes from Rhys Lovegrove on his return from injury. He's left the field of play now. Lincoln Withers is on for the Robins, who have possession still. Peterson finds Dobson. This is good, they're creating gaps. Liam Salter, though, is cut down by that tackle of Ryan Hall. Morrell wanted a quick play of the ball. It's with Taylor. Taylor just trundles the ball up to within 8 metres of that halfway line. Rovers are on the last. It will be the sensible kick option, I would have thought. It's down the middle via the boot of Dobson, and Jones Bishop stopped it with his left foot. It bounced up and he collects, and then he drives the ball in, and he's met 25 metres from his own post.
Yeah, it's great when Rovers can bring somebody like Lincoln Withers on. He's impressed me quite a bit this season. Lincoln Withers, Josh Hodgson, they can both play half-back, they can both play hooker and that, and it's a great play bringing him on at this stage of the game.
I think with Rhys Lovegrove leaving the field, we'll have seen Josh Hodgson go into the second row, Gary. Lincoln Withers will operate out of the hooking position, but Josh Hodgson very comfortable in the second row, and there he is trying to complete that tackle on big Ryan Bailey, as the Rhinos have possession once again inside Rovers territory. Down the middle they come with Griffin, wrapped up by 3 Rovers defenders, but forced his way forward by about 5 metres. Burrows there, goes to the right edge. Here's Ward, fires it short to Callum Watkins, who came on at pace but lost the ball, and Dobson in red and white picks it up, and well, that's been a theme of the last 10-15 minutes. Leeds are getting good field position, but then coming up with the errors.
Yeah, they can't afford to keep doing that, really, because all it does is give Ulkiar plenty of confidence. I mean, they're working pretty well, they're working very hard. The one thing that you can't afford to do in sub-playing level is give the opposition many opportunities, because they will punish you in the end. The Leeds are piling on the pressure, but thankfully for Ulkiar, they're actually coping with that at this moment in time.
Rovers in the shape of Josh Hodgson, just trying to burst through the tackles. Leeds trying to drive him towards the touchline. He's offloaded to Sam Latus, who gained another 4 metres on the back of that. Withers finds Dobson. Dobson kicks it early. It misses the boot of Hardacre, and that allows the Rovers chase to gain at least another 10 metres there, Gary, and that was sloppy from the fullback.
Yeah, we know the shape of the rugby ball suggests that it's going to bounce anyway. If you don't take it out of the air, you need to take it. He tried taking it with his feet there, bounced underneath his feet. He was lucky that he didn't go further down the field, but he's still learning that role. But he's impressed me this season as Zach Hardacre. But then again, he played pretty well in the National Leagues. He's done well. He's actually acquitted himself getting into sub-playing, and he's coped with everything what's been thrown at him type of thing. So he's still learning, but he's been good.
Ryan Bailey crosses halfway, plays the ball to Rob Burrow. Leeds looking for the halfbacks. Here's Ablett now stepping in from left centre, shrugs off Scott Morrell. It hits a Rovers hand. It's back to one, says Tim Roby. Unfortunate for Rovers, but Leeds on the back of that will have 6 tackles inside Rovers half. They're setting up the position now. Rob Burrow not seen too much of him in this game, which is a dangerous thing to say. Maguire pops it short, and Carl Ablett finds a touchline. And once again, Gary, Leeds cross over that 20-metre line, followed by a mistake.
It was a mistake, but at some stage they're going to stick in that. But thankfully, again, I'm repeating myself from my last comments, it hasn't sort of worked out for Leeds. But there was a 3-on-2 there. He tried getting the ball out to the centre, who then obviously tried passing the ball on to Ryan Hall, the winger, and it was definitely on, but the ball went to ground, went behind Ryan Hall, straight into touch, so Ulkiar feed 15 metres away from their own line. Important they complete this set.
It is, we've 13 minutes remaining in this first half. And so far, Craig Sandercock will be fairly happy with what he's seen from his side. Lincoln Withers, good scoot. Met the tackle of Jamie Jones-Buchanan before the reinforcements came in from Bailey and Ward. Here's Mickey Payer once again. Looking for the offload is the big man, but Leeds are just umbrellaed round to prevent that from happening. Taylor from a standing start, looking for an offload, twists, finds his front, wants a quick play of the ball, not allowed to do so. Leeds hands all over the top of him. Dobson from a standing start once again. Peterson was at a high one, no, says the official. And Rovers just finding hard yards difficult to come by in this set. Play on, says Tim Roby. Josh Hodgson kicks ahead. And that's knocked on by Ryan Hall. And Rovers will get the scrum 20 out from the Leeds line.
Peterson got cranked by Griffin in that position there, but he left Griffin on the floor, got a quick play of the ball. The ball comes out here to Hodgson, put a speculator into the right hand side, and Ryan Hall's come up with an error there. Great opportunity for OKR to increase the lead just prior to half time. 11 and a half minutes left, and scrum down 20 metres away from the Leeds line. Great opportunity for OKR here. Let's make sure, or hope to make sure they finish with a good kick to the corner if they don't score. Great to see them score at this stage.
Yep, build some pressure has to be the word, because they've had to soak some up from Leeds, and Rovers have an overlap. David Hodgson will need to come back inside. Well, he almost skips under the two-man tackle. A big ooh goes up from the east stand. They saw something that they weren't happy with, but Rovers trying to test this Leeds defence. Scott Taylor! Oh! Scott Taylor loses the ball! That would have been a 4-pointer, Gary. They would not have stopped Taylor from that range.
Nowhere near. What happened was the ball's gone behind Taylor. He's sort of trying to cut it at his back type of thing with a lamb, at his mercy. Unfortunately for OKR, he's bombed that opportunity, and it seems to be a half of missed opportunities for both sides here.
Oh, Scott Taylor, I'm sure, will be looking to make amends for that one, but at 18 points to 6, that would have been a massive boost as we approach half time. Rovers cut Leeds open. All Taylor had to do was tuck that one up his jumper, and no one would have stopped a man of his size. But it's gone. We need to concentrate on what's happening now and what's happening next, because Leeds, they'll be looking to hit back, and they've crossed halfway with Daryl Griffin.
The unfortunate thing is how many times we've seen Leeds, escape an opportunity like that, what Rovers just bombed there, and come back and score at the other end. We've seen that time and time again. So, unfortunately, knock on there from Sam Layton. Oh no, he's been offside. He's been offside, which is great, inside the 10.
Yeah, in fairness to Sam Laytus, that one did go backwards. That was the correct call, and then he really did cop a shot as the tackles came in. But Rovers get the penalty for offside, and there's a real buzz around MS3 Craven Park. I don't think they can believe that Scott Taylor didn't score that try, Gary.
Oh, I'll tell you what, knowing Scott like I do, he'll be pretty gutted about not putting that between the posts as well. Don't worry about that. Like I say, it was just slightly behind him, most probably just at the back of his rib cage type of thing, and he just couldn't bring it back in.
Importantly though, Rovers have possession. Mickey Payer's just turned over onto his back, 10 metres inside the Robins half of the field. Peterson steps, looks for a gap, big shot goes in from Stevie Ward. It was across the chest, nothing wrong with that one. Peterson just gets to his feet, and Rovers go left edge with Galea. Galea just skips into the two-man tackle. It was completed by Delaney and Bailey. Withers finds Taylor. He finds the scrum half, who moves the ball onto Morrell. This is good from Rovers. Liam Salter elects to hold on to that one and not go for Sam Laytus on the touchline, but Rovers are trying to be expansive. Oh, Dobson's found the gap. Dobson's through the gap. He wants support. Oh! Michael Dobson! Magic Dobson! Goes in under the post. It was all about the dummy. And Dobbo goes in and puts Rovers 16-6 into the lead. Fantastic try and a great finish by the scrum half.
I'm just not watching Lincoln Withers always in support of that break there. He got clean out there off the ball. Dobson threw a dummy, good job he didn't get to look at it, because he would have certainly been out there. But Dobson, fantastic dummy, backed himself, put the ball in front, well, pretty much to the side of the left-hand post as well, looking at it. Great try by Dobson, but let's hope Lincoln Withers is all right there, because I say he took a heavy shot there in support. Fantastic play by OKR. Tell you what, they're going to go into half-time where you'd expect them to be in the lead by 18 points to 6, and you know, certainly impressed me this half as OKR. Done very, very well. Something's going on reported, I think, Rob.
Yeah, I was watching the ball carrier, in fairness. Is it Maguire who's been called out? Could well be the standoff for the Leeds Rhinos. That's a second Leeds player on report. Danny Maguire joining Brett Delaney. Looks as though Lincoln Withers is going to be okay. And Michael Dobson now with a chance to push Rovers into an 18 points to 6 lead. Dobson left-footed. The flags are raised. 18-6. It's all going extremely well for Rovers thus far.
Tell you what, Rob, if they can hold on to this and gain a victory against the Leeds side, what is pretty much at full strength, what a massive, massive boost to the club, and particularly the young kids who have taken the place in today's team. I predicted a pretty long afternoon for OKR, but you know, the Rovers fans will be hoping that I do that every week if this is the performance what OKR come up with, because that up to now is fantastic.
So Rovers shrug off that missed chance for Scott Taylor and go over for the next try of the game from the mercurial scrum half Michael Dobson. 18-6, this is going to be a test of character for the Rhinos. Let's not forget, Gary, big Wembley final just a couple of weeks ago to go. It does play on players' minds.
Big occasions abound, so they all want to be part of that. They want to try and make sure they don't get injury, but you'd expect them to be a bit more professional than that and sort of deal with the opportunities in front of them at this moment in time. And they are a little bit flat. That's not taking anything away from OKR, because they're playing very, very well this afternoon.
Offload from Bengalia is juggled but collected by Lewis Sheriff. He eventually goes down, wants to find his feet for the quick play. The ball Leeds are offside, but play goes on. Dobson's drilled one towards the touchline. Just goes the wrong side for the Rovers scrum half. But 20-metre restart for the Rhinos rather, and Rovers are already lined up in the defensive pattern.
Yeah, he's let that go, and some of his teammates from Leeds had to come back from the halfway line. Took the time getting back, and that allowed OKR to get back in the defensive line and line up ready to nullify anything what Leeds have got to offer. Fantastic play by OKR there.
Just under 6 minutes remaining in this first half at MS3 Craven Park. That's a big swinging arm from Scott Taylor on Kevin Sinfield, but nothing untoward in that, say the officials. So Leeds just pop it short. That was a flat pass at best. It looked as though it had just drifted forward, but Rovers being told to get back 10, and the tackle count continues. Rob Burrow scoots, brings in Stevie Ward. He just shimmies and finds Carl Ablett. Ablett wrapped up by enthusiastic Rovers defence. Morell's there with Liam Salter. It's the last tackle for the Leeds Rhinos. Sinfield, crossfield kick. Hodgson and Horner there, Dobson's there. That one will bounce into touch, and Rovers will get head and feed at this scrum 10 metres away from their own try line.
Yeah, they don't seem to be as clinical as they normally are, don't Leeds, do they? But again, that's most probably down to OKR's enthusiasm and putting pressure in certain areas and that. But you know, the kicks from Sinfield at this moment in time at pinpoint like they were. And talking about the Challenge Cup final in a couple of weeks' time, you know, you'd expect a whitewash from Warrington the way this is going at this moment in time, wouldn't you? You know, they haven't played particularly well. But again, take nothing away from OKR, because the enthusiasm and the way they're playing, they're not allowing that to happen. Rovers
will look to see this set out safely with 4.5 minutes remaining in the first half. I think the message coming out, Gary, will be don't concede before half time, and that's a good burst down the middle by George Griffin. So he's made a good impression with his first touch. Knees went in on Dobson's head then from Watkins, but play goes on. This one's all about hard yards and then a deep kick downfield.
Oh, without a doubt, and things like that. What Scott Taylor's just had a great penalty for Ulkiar there. Things like that will help. I mean, what a magical half this will be if Ulkiar can register more points on the board just before half time.
It would indeed, but on a cautious note, did you see the London Salford half-time score yesterday?
Yeah, I did. That came as a surprise, but then again, Tony Ray's a top quality coach, and he's instilled some belief back in at London there, so it surprised me, but it didn't in some respects. But there we go again with Rovers.
Intricate hands from Scott Morello, who's really finding his feet in this game now. He feeds the ball inside to Griffin, who's met by solid defence by Leeds. Brother on brother there. Winkham Withers skips away. Oh, and he was looking for Peterson. He's offloaded. Oh, he's looking to offload. Rovers are 19 metres out and they've got Leeds on the back foot. Dobson steps himself again. Tries to regain his footing but goes down eventually. Can Rovers go in for their fourth try of this first half? Galea pops it short to Graham Horne. Horne takes possession. Rovers have one more tackle in this set. Looks as though Horne's taken a knock. Dobson puts a kick in. It's fumbled by Leeds, but it went behind. Worryingly, Graham Horne limps away from that latest tackle. Rovers have defending to do with 2.5 minutes remaining in the first half.
Yeah, they can't afford really for him to get injured, because that will alter the shape quite a bit. So, they need to keep him on the field. I think he's going to walk that off, to be honest with you. But Rovers are just growing in self-belief as the game goes on. Leeds, for their part, are looking a little bit more shady, a little bit more nervous. So again, for what Ulkiar's been putting him under pressure and what have you, they're sort of having some real inroads into Leeds' confidence.
Certainly don't want to put a jinx on the young man, but for me, Gary, the defence of Liam Salter in this first half has really stood out. He's making all the right decisions and he's looking very, very strong in the contact.
Yeah, all the young kids have done well again. Like I said, George Griffin's come in, he's a good count himself. Louis Sharif's played well, looked very assured at fullback. Salter's played very well. Yeah, Peterson's done his bit. So the young kids are showing up pretty well, and I'm sure Craig Sandercock's going to be quite pleased with their performances.
The rain starts to belt down in East Hull once again, as Rovers have an 18 points to 6 lead and they have possession of the football. Here is that young man, Liam Salter, just comes in field from left centre position. He'll play the ball 5 metres from halfway. Good pick up by Withers. Oh, and if he'd have found Galea then, Galea may have broken the tackle of Watkins and been on his way. Dobson just goes short to Scott Taylor. He bumps one off, can't beat the second and third defender. Last one in this set. So Dobson, will he go to the sky? Well, he measures a kick over for David Hodgson. One bounce into touch. I think Dobbo was certainly caught in 2 or 3 minds there, Gary, and the option's not too bad. That will just run the clock down as we're into the final minute of this first 40 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't get caught. He was going to kick to the corner, then decided he was maybe going to throw a ball. Went back to the original plan, kicked to the corner. If they come off, they're fantastic. But I've noticed Leeds defenders, there's 2 or 3 who've been left on the line, but on the floor when Ulkiar's getting up to play the ball, so that's great for Ulkiar, that. Great player.
Here come Leeds with Zach Hardacre. They only have time for around 2 or 3 tackles in this first half, so as long as Rovers keep the shape, don't allow the line break, they should go into the interval leading by 12 points, but you never know when the Rhinos are in town. 20 seconds remain. Rob Burrow takes it 9 metres inside Rovers territory. Leeds wanting a quicker play the ball. It's into the hands of Sinfield. The kick from Hardacre. Offside, surely. Oh, play on. Latest needs to make that tackle on Ryan Hall. He half makes it, but the offload to Ablett, who's wrapped up by 3 Rovers defenders. There goes the half-time hooter. It's been great entertainment. Rovers deservedly being applauded for their efforts in that opening 40 minutes, because they've gone into the half-time interval with a lead. Boos for the Leeds Rhinos, but Rovers have played well. They're just having a meeting on the field of play still. Looks as though Ben Galea is just speaking to some of the younger players, just saying, look, you've played well, but the job's only half done. The scoring started in the 4th minute of play. Quick hands from Rovers, saw Graham Horn receive the ball on the last tackle. He had the power just to reach over and ground the ball for a 4-point advantage, which Dobson turned into 6 with the kick from the left-hand side of the field. But Leeds, as you would expect from a champion side, they responded. They broke Rovers down the middle, and it was the youngster Stevie Ward who offloaded to supporting Danny Maguire, who went in a metre to the left-hand side of the post. Sinfield converted, and at 6-all it was game on, but Rovers responded next. Josh Hodgson's making this his trademark move. He just picks the ball up from dummy half, looks at the defensive line, picks a gap and backs himself, and he went over to put Rovers back into the lead by 10 points to 6. Dobson converted from in front of the post, and then that magic moment on 32 minutes. Dobson took on the Leeds defence around 35 metres out, sold an absolutely sublime dummy, went in underneath the post without a finger being laid on him, converted his own try, and at half-time, with 2 Leeds players also on report, it looks as though they've got the champions rattled, because the Robins lead by 18 points to 6. Welcome back to HullKR.TV at MS3 Craven Park as the Robins lead the Rhinos at half-time by 18 points to 6 in what was a really truly magnificent first half performance from Craig Sandercock's young men. Can they sustain it for another 40 minutes? We are about to find out. Bengalia leads his side back on. That rain that poured down just in the final 10 minutes of the first half looks to have blown over. So perfect conditions, and Rovers will be attacking the Preston Road end of the ground in this second half. And if you were Craig Sandercock, Gary Wilkinson, what would your words of wisdom have been at half-time?
Just control the ruck, control your line speed, and make sure defensively you're on song, and if you can do that, they put Leeds under immense pressure in that first half, and the lead in obviously at half-time 18 points to 6, which is great to see. I mean, if HullKR can get themselves on the scoreboard first, I'm sure that Leeds are going to get into panic mode.
Dobson gets us underway for the second 40 minutes. It's a long kick-off. It's fielded by Leeds, and the first run-up of the second half will be Ryan Bailey. He goes down just 12 metres from the Leeds post. Here's Peacock now. Tell you something, Gary, Brian McDermott's not a coach that you'd like to upset, is he? And I'm sure that he'll have his side fired up for this second half.
I'm sure there'll be a little bit of paintwork being peeled off the changing room walls in that Leeds changing room, but you know, at this moment in time it's not lost. We know what Leeds are capable of coming back and what have you, but the way HullKR are playing at this moment in time, you know, they're going to have to work really, really hard to achieve that.
That's a great kick from Sinfield. It wasn't a 40-20, but it certainly put Rovers only 10 metres from their own line. And the words from Brian McDermott may well have been, look, there's some young guys in this Rovers lineup this afternoon. Let's play the game in their half. Mistakes will come, and then just be patient and capitalise. But if Rovers, as you say, can complete and just stick to the game plan, who knows?
Who knows exactly. We talked before the kick-off about you know what the young kids give you, and they give you tons and tons of enthusiasm. If they're lacking in terms of experience or whatever, they give loads of enthusiasm, and you know, it sometimes lifts some of the older players when they see that exuberance coming from the young kids.
So Rovers now have their first use of the ball in this second half. Taylor just collides with Ryan Bailey and goes to the ground midway inside the Robins half. They've gone short side to Scott Morell, who puts the kick in downfield. It skips off the lush turf. It may just be slightly greasy after that downpour, and that was a good tactic. And there is the man, Scott Morell, following up his own kick, and pressure is immediately onto the Leeds Rhinos, who have to bring the ball away from their own 20.
Yeah, smart play, great pressure. That's what they need to do, keep putting the pressure on Leeds. It's Leeds who have to get over the whitewash more than HullKR have. They've got to do this half. You know, at this moment in time, that's why I'm saying to you, defensively, if they control everything what Leeds throw at them, they're going to come away with a victory. It would be a tremendous victory looking at the two sides on paper.
Rob Burrow scoots. He had a man on his inside. It was Danny Maguire, but the tackle was completed, and now the penalty. goes against Dave Peterson and George Griffin, and well, that's just the inexperience we spoke about. Leeds playing the old soldier, getting the decision on the 5th, and well, they'll now have 6 tackles and Rovers will be inside their own 20.
Yeah, that's something they can't afford to do, Rob. You know, give cheap penalties away, because Leeds on the day, top quality side, will punish you, particularly at the Super League level. You know, you need to learn from that.
Short ball to Ryan Bailey, who's hit by an absolutely fuddering tackle from Bengalia, but this is danger for Rovers now. Burrow finds Sinfield, just ships it to Delaney. Delaney is stood up in the tackle by Michael Dobson, but still Leeds have tackles in this set. It's with Sinfield once again. He just pops it off to Jamie Peacock, who gets the ball out the back door. There's a gap there for Jamie Jones-Buchanan, who is met by a great tackle by Liam Salter, but Rovers have some defending to do out wide. They can't keep Leeds out. The wingman Ryan Hall grounds the ball 2 or 3 metres from the left-hand corner flag, and it's first blood in this second half to the Rhinos with 3.5 minutes played. Rovers' lead is cut to 18 points to 10.
One thing you need to do is be squeaky clean, and unfortunately the clinical side of Leeds play came out there and punished that penalty what was conceded by Dave Peterson and George Griffin. You know, it's something you can't afford to do, and unfortunately, like you said, Rob, the little bit of inexperience there has come to the fore, and you know, it depends what sort of kicking boots Kevin Sinfield's got, and he normally is reliable, but over recent weeks he hasn't been as clinical with his kicking. But that's what Leeds are capable of, and you know, one score and all of a sudden they're back into the game again, aren't they? That's why we said, you know, it'd be great if Ulkiak could have gone on the scoreboard pretty quickly, but that wasn't to be.
So Dave Peterson and George Griffin need to learn from that penalty concede. Not the easiest of kicks for Sinfield, but this guy kicks goals in his sleep, kicks them for fun. Didn't have the best evening at Wakefield on Monday, but we'll see how this one goes. It's silenced the Rovers fans, so it's on its way. The cheers are from the Leeds fans over on the right-hand side, because their side now are just one converted score behind Craig Sandercock's men. 18 points to 12, the Robins lead.
I'm sure the more experienced guys behind the post there, whilst that kick was being taken, would have been said to the young kids, look, make sure that was squeaky clean. I mean, that wouldn't have only applied to the young kids, by the way, but you know, they'll explain that we can't afford to give penalties away because we'll get punished, and that's exactly what Leeds did in that last penalty what was conceded. So
Leeds collect the restart, and they're grounded 18 metres out from their own line. It was Bailey who played the ball. Peacock just goes down underneath the tackle of George Griffin, and he gets up and play the ball to Rob Burrow. Just fires it to Brett Delaney, tries to take on Dobson. Dobson's having a good game for me. Really is standing up and showing his leadership qualities. That's a big shot on Rob Burrow by Scott Taylor, but Burrow is looking to get more involved. Well, that was a disguised 40-20 attempt, and Leeds have fought the Robins asleep, and Jones Bishop has gone down the touchline and fed Callum Watkins, who puts it inside to Danny Maguire, and in the space of 2 second-half minutes, the Leeds Rhinos have hit the Robins with a double whammy. They've gone in for their third score of the afternoon. It's 18-16. We're talking about the Rovers' young guns on display this afternoon. Jones Bishop and Watkins there. They're only young, but they are top-notch, and they combined, and Maguire goes in for a second score unopposed, and well, Delaney's down in back play. Sinfield will line up the conversion, and any second now the Rhinos could be level.
Yeah, kind of disappointed here, you know, 6.5 minutes in that. The effort in the first half was massive. Leeds have come out and they look a little bit more clinical, and that's quality play, to be honest with you. You know, just draw and pass, and that's exactly what they've done. They've left Kevin Sinfield with a decent opportunity to sort of level scores up here, most probably 15 metres away from the right-hand upright. A kid of his quality doesn't normally miss these, but like I say, he's been out of sorts of recent weeks, so hopefully, fingers crossed, he may well miss this. But Leeds, top quality player. It was a pleasure to watch that type of football, to be honest with you.
Well, surprisingly, Sinfield misses the conversion, so Rovers still have the lead, 18-16, and well, just having that 2-point lead may just give them something to really fight for psychologically.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Rob. You know, they're still in front, aren't they? They've conceded a couple of tries, but they are still in front. But this is where we need to be lifting each other here, making sure that we get every man into the tackle, control the tackle, and slow Leeds down and nullify everything they've got to offer. But Leeds at this moment in time are with the tails in the air, and it's a test of Rovers' character here.
One thing Rovers haven't had in this second half, though, is any possession. It's been all Leeds, and that's why they've had the opportunity to post those 2 scores. Jones Buchanan is met by solid defence. This George Griffin certainly puts himself about, Gary. That was forward. How did that not get seen by the officials? That was ridiculous.
That was a blatant forward pass. That was a terrible decision from the referee and touch judges. Possible 40-20 there. Yeah, it is a 40-20.
Well, I think the difficulty Lewis Sheriff had there, Gary, was because of that downpour before half-time. The pitch has become very greasy. Had he caught that on the fly, he may well have slid over. It may go down as a mistake, but he has my sympathy there, this young fullback.
I'd agree with that, but unfortunately he tried keeping the ball in play. Like he had a foot in touch as he's touched the ball, so obviously the 40-20 has been given. This now is a massive defensive set for Ulkiar. If they can keep him out, they'll gain confidence, but likewise if they concede, Leeds are just going to be in front for the first time during the game.
Yep, real big ask now for Rovers as Carl Ablett breaks through. He goes down just a metre out. Real pressure on Rovers now as the Rhinos really are showing their quality. Peacock runs into Hodgson, breaks the tackle of Hodgson. He goes down, wants a quick play the ball. Rovers have Morell out of the defensive line. Burrow tries the pinch one. Offside, says the referee. So the tackle count will be wiped, and Rovers will do really well to survive this. Stevie Ward cuts back inside, takes the 2-man tackle. 9 metres out, Lovegrove's back on for the Robins. They've come short side. Well, was there a dummy runner obstruction there? No, says Tim Roby. And Leeds are just trying to unlock Rovers for the 4th time in this game. Ward, short pass finds Jamie Jones Buchanan. Rovers are short of numbers on that right-hand edge. That's the way Leeds have gone. Maguire pops it back in field. Rovers muscle up and keep them out. But surely the dam is about to break again. Short pass from Rob Burrow to Carl Ablett. Strength from Ablett. He's got the ball down. He sensed it was coming. And inside 10.5 second half minutes, the Leeds Rhinos have turned this game on its head. They now lead by 20 points to 18, and Rovers just simply have no answers so far, Gary.
Well, you did allude to the fact, Rob, to be fair to you, that Ulkiar haven't had any ball. What's happened is Leeds have had the ball scored and just keep putting the pressure on and all that sort of stuff. I mean, unfortunately, Scott Morell wasn't just quite strong enough to keep him out there. And it's on Kevin Sinfield's best side from a right-footed kicker's point of view, so we'd expect him to put these 2 points onto that try and that. But it's a test of Rovers' character, and some of these young kids will learn from this, that is for sure. But Leeds most probably are playing like we expect them to in the first half. They've been very clinical in what they do. They seemed a bit rusty in that first half, but again, that most probably was a little bit to do with Rovers' quality in defence and enthusiasm.
So Sinfield lines up the conversion as Griffin and Taylor leave the field for the Robins. It's been a real blitz from Leeds in this second half. Sinfield with the conversion. That one sails safely in between the posts. 22 points to 18. The Rhinos lead this game now. 40-20 of Sinfield was a big factor in the build-up to that try, Gary, but how that forward pass was not seen by the officials just prior to the 40-20 just beggars belief.
I had a look at the touch judges as well. I was never in position to help the touch to help the referee. From a touch judge's point of view, it needs to be in line with play as well to be able to give those decisions, but he was never in a position to do that. But listen, everybody else around the ground could see it was a forward pass, but to be fair, Rovers should have kept him out in that situation, but we'll see how they deal with this set of 6 now. No penalties as they call here.
I think Rovers have only had 1 set in this second half so far, Gary, and what we've played 12 minutes of it. That's it. That's how you win rugby league games.
Exactly, and Leeds are pretty good at it. Once they get a roll on and get into the ascendancy, you know, that's what they do, they punish you. And Rovers have just got to be patient, and they'll get opportunities this half and be clinical when they get the opportunities.
So Leeds once again looking for the 40-20. That ricocheted off a Rovers ankle. Lewis Sheriff's there. Picks it up and goes down 20 metres from his own line, but Leeds just look a different side in this second half. Brian McDermott must have really ripped into them at half-time. A second consecutive defeat would have really hurt the Rhinos in their quest for the top four. I think we've seen the response.
A positive response, but at the end of the day, there's only 4 points, but that kind of thing, that doesn't help the situation. You know, there's a knock on there, and he'd be a little bit disappointed. First knock on from Lincoln Withers, so here we are 30 metres away from the OKR line now, and if Leeds make them pay this particular set of 6, I really don't fear for OKR. But you know, it's all about showing a bit of character and a bit of resilience, and they're capable of doing that. They'll gain a lot of confidence if they can keep them out of this set of 6. Let's hope they can do that.
The clock has been stopped as a Rovers man receives attention in back play. Looks as though it's young Liam Salter, and that's an uncharacteristic mistake from Lincoln Withers. 30 metres out from his own line, and another try for the Rhinos now, Gary, and you would possibly start to fear the worst. Here come the Rhinos. That's a good shot from Sam Latus. Absolutely cut Zach Hardacre in half, did the Rovers wingman, and on tackle number 1, the Rhinos spill the ball.
That's the response what OKR's looking for. He's saved a setting trial there. He's come in, like you say, he's chopped him down. Now it's OKR's turn with the ball. It's important that they'll build some pressure. They can't afford to come up with an error here, because the Reds will drop dramatically.
So Rovers have possession. The tackles come in from the blue-shirted Rhinos. We're inside the Rovers half. Centre field. Rhys Lovegrove puts the step on Bailey. Bailey is assisted by Jamie Peacock, and he gets up and plays the ball. Looks offside there at marker. The decision goes the way of the Robins. Some rapturous applause and cheers from the Robins faithful. Good penalty win that. Dobson will put them 20 metres further downfield, and they'll be asking questions of the Leeds defence.
Yeah, it's important to finish with a quality set. Just build some pressure here. You don't have to score every time you've got the ball in your hand. If you can build some pressure here, who knows?
Withers now, he'll be looking to make up for that knock-on moments ago, but wrapped up by eager defence from the Rhinos. It's with Joel Clinton on for another spell. Takes on the 2-man defensive wall and goes down 13 metres out. Withers wants support, finds Morrell. Dobson wants an option. Sheriff provides it. Can he twist over the young man? He goes down just 1 metre out from that Leeds try line. Bengalia moves the ball back across the line. O'Hara puts the step on, goes down underneath the tackle of Ryan Bailey. Rovers on the last. It's not the best kick from Dobson, but Rovers have got it! Rovers have got it! What's the decision? Knock on from Leeds. Well, two knock-ons can only be decision, Gary, and Rovers must have lost that in the act of scoring.
I think what he said first knock-on, and here we are with a dropout underneath the Leeds post. And if we can get a good set of, if we get a good set of 6 here with a great score, that would be fantastic. But build some pressure, just exactly like they've done there. He's done well since he's come back on his Clinton.
Great drive from Clinton, and you just sense that Rovers are looking for a big response. They're down by 4 points as Peterson takes on the line, takes on a big man in Kylie Luluai. Come on Rovers is the cry from the Robins faithful. Morrell having a good game, good pass to Ryan O'Hara, did well to take that one in under pressure from Carl Ablett. Withers goes short to Dobson, Dobson with the step, powers towards the line, does the scrum half. He had two big Leeds men over the top of him. Withers wants support. Morell against his old side, tries to pinch one. Rovers only have one tackle remaining. Withers goes himself, wrong option, but if you're going to turn the ball over a metre shy of the post isn't a bad place. Rovers can fly up into Leeds' faces now.
I agree with you. If they'd put a kick on it, it'd gone dead or something like that, Rob, then they'd have had 20 metres to come away from their own line. As it is now, first tackle, they're only 5 metres away from their own post. Yeah, it's all right, nothing wrong with that. And people have got to understand, you don't have to score every time you have the ball in your hand.
So Rovers now trying to force the error from Leeds. That's a good shot, but well done, Jones Bishop. He ran off the tackle of O'Hara and Lovegrove. Unfortunately, Peterson was there to wrap him up. Sinfield with the step, not bought by O'Hara and Lovegrove, who this time do complete the tackle. Slow play the ball because there's a tangle of bodies there. Jamie Peacock wants an offload. Held, says Tim Roby. So Rob Burrow, well, he looks dummy to kick, and it's launched the counter from Danny Maguire, who's found a gap. He's found support from Hardacre. It's collected by Sinfield. He kicks the ball at Dobson. It will go into touch, will it? Yes, it will. And Rovers will get the handover, and that cost Leeds Rhinos yards.
He did. It was a quick decision. Callum Watkins there caught the ball and put his foot in touch and that, so it was the right decision, nothing wrong with that. Again, OKR, great play there. Now was a great opportunity for them to build some more press like we keep talking about. And it'll do for me if they turn the ball over a metre away from the lead line again without actually coming in with a kick. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So hopefully they know the call, build some pressure. 4 points is nothing.
Dobson feeds the scrum. Rovers have ball in hand in Leeds half of the field. Liam Salter just thought about skipping around the outside, but then thought better of it. Mickey Payer comes back on to replace Dave Peterson. So with Clinton, O'Hara and Payer and all out there, some real size out there for Rovers now, Gary. Some big men looking to punch holes down the middle, and that's a good penalty against who else? Ryan Bailey.
No, exactly. The big boys are on, like you say, make some good yards and what have you. But I'm looking at Peterson. He's come off. It's a well-deserved break. Actually, he's given a good account of himself again today. So well done to Dave Peterson.
So Rovers now on the attack. It's with Dobson. Dummies the big man and brings in O'Hara. Mickey Payer will be looking to get involved as quickly as possible. Withers is at dummy half. Brings in the big beast from the east. It bumps off one. Sucks in 3 defenders, does Mickey Payer. That's great play. It's put Rovers in great position now. Withers links with Dobson, who moves the ball on. Morell bumps one off. Spreads the ball out wide to Liam Salter, who runs back across the defensive line. Almost picks the gap. There's a Leeds player flat out. In back play, looks like it's Jones Buchanan as Galea offloads to Dobson, who moves the ball back in field to Sheriff. Sheriff puts on the accelerator, not completed. He gained his feet but then went down under the tackle of Peacock. Dobson steps and dummies himself. 1 tackle remaining. It needs to go to a ball player. It needs to find Morell or Galea. It's with Morell. Oh, there's a chance for Lewis Sheriff, and Lewis Sheriff's gone in under the post. Try for Rovers. 20-all. Hulkingston Rovers respond, and we have played exactly an hour. Lewis Sheriff, 2 games, 2 tries, and that was richly deserved.
That was great play by Scott Morell. A little dink over the top, just aim towards the crossbar area. Lewis Sheriff followed up there and put the ball down between the posts. Fantastic play. Dobson's taking on the line a little bit this half as well. He's taking the ball to the line, jinking, putting some doubt into the Leeds defence and making them think a little bit. But great play there. Dobson took the ball in. Obviously left Morell as the only kicker. He could have kicked to the corners and what have you, but like I say, he's kicked towards the crossbar. It's bounced nicely for Sharif, and great try.
Great kick from Scott Morell. Last tackle, measured it to perfection, and Lewis Sheriff got there first. Dobson's in front, 11 metres out to put Rovers back into the lead in this game. 24-22, Dobson obliges. just under 19 minutes to go. If anything else, Gary, it's been a fantastic game.
It's been a great game and a fantastic performance, like I keep saying before kick-off. Looking at the two sides on paper, you've expected Leeds to walk away with this game, but they haven't done that. The kids have come in, they've lifted the side at times. The old heads have been trying to encourage young kids on, and it's been a great sort of combination. So well done to OKR for the performance anyway up to date.
And the Suns deciding to come out at Craven Park once again as Rovers have possession from the restart. It's with Josh Hodgson, tries to break the tackle of Brett Delaney. Such a powerful player is Josh Hodgson, plays above his size and stature. Withers once again just darting, putting doubt into the defensive line. Dobson, will this be a 40-20 attempt? He's got a decent angle but not enough to beat the positioning of Zach Hardacre, who takes a good shot from Lewis Sheriff. This is danger though, because Ryan Hall running from deep can go 60-70 metres, but Rovers wrap him up. Burrow scoots, wants support, fires it long, finds the youngster Clarkson. Clarkson goes down. Still inside the Rhinos' half. Peacock can't beat Payer but gets an offload away. Rob Burrow, watched carefully by Lovegrove and Galea, and they bring the hooker down. The Rovers' defensive line looks fairly solid at this moment, but Leeds looking to stretch it now, but Lincoln Withers does his job superbly. Rovers need to clear the ruck. They can't afford to concede a penalty on the last tackle. Sinfield under pressure from Lovegrove, gets the kick away. Good take from Lewis Sheriff, and Rovers at this moment in time, Gary, are doing well again.
Yeah, they've stemmed the floor a little bit, haven't they? And Louis Sharif, he's stepped into the plate and he's having a good half this half. Apart from the try and that, positionally he's looked good and looks full of confidence. Pulled off a couple of tackles and that, so credit to Louis Sharif as well. He's playing pretty well.
Well, everyone wondered how the youngsters would react against Widnes last week. They came up with a good win. Surely the champions was going to be a challenge too far, but Lincoln Withers, that just bent away from the touchline. 40-20 attempts, and it looked as though it was going to get there, Gary, and then just curved away at the last moment.
He's an intelligent player, Lincoln Withers, back at his times at Canberra and all that lot. Reads the game pretty well, and full of confidence. Kids really will learn tremendously off people like him.
Liam Salter there was absolutely immense. Mickey Payer made the initial contact and Salter drove the Rhinos back. Sinfield, one-handed, can't evade the three-man tackle. Superb leadership by Galea once again, who got to the Leeds captain, and Sinfield's gone down hurt. That's not good news for the Leeds Rhinos, as Maguire puts a little dink over. Josh Hodgson tries to take it in, it's bouncing around, play on, says Tim Roby, and Rovers say thank you very much, and Leeds should surely have been kicking for field position there.
Yeah, they're not responding very much very well to the pressure OKR are putting under, both offensively and defensively. They're working pretty well. They've now got the fans on the side again, behind the backs, and it's Leeds now whose turn is to defend manfully.
Just over 15 minutes remain. Dobson finds Lewis Sheriff. Sheriff dummies, goes down underneath the tackle of Jones Bishop, but the gaps almost opening up. Rovers are probing again. Dobson goes short to the skipper. That one's a loose one. It's picked up though by Mickey Payer. Payer just tries to bump off Jones Buchanan, who felt that one. The reinforcements coming from two Leeds defenders. Rovers still have a couple of tackles remaining. Dobson dinks the kick in. Surely that's offside. It's play on, back to 6. As Dobson feeds Morrell. Morrell straightens it up. Goes down 11 metres from the post. Quick play the ball. Dobson, short. Salter, big collision. Looks as though Graham Horn, that injury he got has put him out the game, because Lovegrove looks as though he's playing centre, Gary, as play continues to Joel Clinton. Can Rovers break Leeds down once again? Lincoln Withers finds the scrum half. It's with Liam Salter. He almost stood up Rob Burrow then and found the gap. Rovers are pulling Leeds one way then the other, but so far Leeds are standing firm. Offside, accidental, and another decision goes the way of Craig Sandercock's men.
Again, just making sure that build some pressure, don't have to score every time. You're in front at this moment in time. All you have to do is do something with the ball in terms of finishing a good field position, putting a quality kick in the chase, tackle behind the line or something like that. The best case scenario obviously would be to score a try, but they don't have to do that. Just build pressure, put Leeds under that pressure all the time.
Crucial spell of the game this. Since that early blast from Leeds, Rovers have took control of this game again, but they need another score. Dobson, Derby finds Lovegrove. Lovegrove is wrapped up by Callum Watkins, who did superbly. Hodgson moves the ball in field. It's going across the hands into the big man, Nicky Payer. 4 metres shy of the line, just to the left-hand side of the post. A loose pass. Dobson can't take that one in. Ablett will launch the counter, and that's disappointing for Rovers, who needed just to control the ball, even if they didn't score.
You can't afford to do things like that, because a team like Leeds are going to feed off that and be clinical. Leeds, I can't see them spilling the ball in. They're just going to put it up the jumper, make some hard yards, and finish with a quality kick. That's what they'll do here.
Chris Clarkson, the Leeds substitute. I'll tell you something, Gary. Sean Lunt's on the bench for Leeds. I don't think he's come on yet.
No, he hasn't. I haven't seen him come on yet, but again, he's a quality player. He could still have a part to play in this game, because he is top notch. Burrows has been on for the full 70 minutes up to now.
Dink over from Sinfield, Sales out on the full, and Rovers will say thank you very much.
That's the error I predicted that wouldn't come, so I'm a bit surprised and disappointed with Kevin Sinfield there. He's a very, very experienced player, and he's come up with that play. Smack's a little bit of desperation trying to kick to the corner there and put his winger away. There's still 12 minutes got to go yet, and he should have been doing what we've been calling Rovers to do, build some pressure in that, but play a little bit off the cuff, play with a little bit of confidence, but I'm very disappointed from Leeds' point of view of that.
Well, I've just been informed that Sean Lunt did get a run out in that first half, but can't have been much of one, because we can't remember him touching the ball much. As is Rovers hooker Josh Hodgson. He's just pushed back a metre or so inside his own half. Withers off the slow play of the ball. It's with O'Hara now. Good shot goes in from Kylie Luluai. That was a big collision, and it forced the ball out, and that could be a game changer, that one. Great shot from Luluai.
Yeah, it could be. It looks like it lifted Leeds side, but they've now spilled the ball, so they've given a penalty. Does it go for goal here?
Interesting decision for Kevin Sinfield. Bengalir not happy. The clock is still ticking away, and Sinfield is going to try and tag on the two.
Most probably credit to Rovers the fact that he's going for the 2 points here, that, you know what I mean, but levels of scores, he'll try and come away with a 1 point or something and try and steal the game. Rovers, like I said earlier on, I've mentioned numerous times, have certainly impressed me this half, this game actually, the fact that they're in a game where on paper Leeds look very much stronger than they did, but it's credit to them when they're forcing the Leeds captain to make a decision of going for goal with 10.5 minutes left to try and level the scores.
So, 36 metres out, centre field. Kevin Sinfield, vastly experienced, and that one sails between the posts, never looked like missing, and the scoreline is tied up. It's Hulkingston Rovers 24, the world champions Leeds Rhinos 24. That's giving massive confidence and credit to OKR, the fact that they're forced him into that position of going for goals. There's still loads of time on the clock. There's now just short of 10 minutes. So here we are with Dobson kicking off again. Let's make sure that OKR come up with a good defensive set here and put them under pressure again. Yeah, I think whoever can establish field position in the next 5-6 minutes may well take the spoils, and well, Leeds now are just starting to show their experience. The offload from Kylie Luluai, but fortunately Ryan O'Hara cut down Danny Maguire. It's inside the Leeds half, that's where we want it to be. 4 Rovers defenders in attendance as Jamie Peacock takes the tackle. The ball is played, it's with Delaney. Delaney just goes hard and straight up the middle. Still 9 metres inside Leeds half. Good scoop from Burrow. Good line break from Leeds. Oh, Sam Laters. He may have knocked it down, but that was a try saver, because had he not done so, Ryan Hall was on his way.
Pressure's still on Ulkiar, but like you just said, Rob, you know, he's got himself in between player and the ball and what have you, knocked the ball down. I mean, equally, if he'd have kept hold of the ball, he's got the full length of the field to go, and he'd have been a hero. In my opinion, still is, because it says he just prevented a second try there.
The clock has been stopped with 8 minutes 52 seconds remaining. Rovers will have some defending to do, because Leeds take possession just 40 metres from the Robins line. They've made another 10 metres with that drive forward. It may still be early-ish, but we're in drop goal range as Clarkson goes up the middle, and I think that's what Leeds are going to do, Gary, because they're just going straight up the centre. They're now 17, 18 metres out, they're in range. Peacock steps back inside, down the middle once again. Sinfield's lurking out the back. Burrow is looking over his shoulder. They've gone to Kylie Luluai, who drives powerfully forward. Rovers do well to keep him out, but look where Sinfield is now. Here it comes. Leeds skipper right-footed, unopposed. 1-pointer, and Leeds go back into the lead by 25 points to 24. And that was exactly, as soon as that scrum went down, that's exactly what Leeds were working towards.
You can see that, like I say, that was their purpose of him going for the 2 points, trying to get the pinch the game with a 1-pointer and whatever. It's exactly what they've done. But at the end of the day, it's not a match-winning margin up, obviously, at this moment in time. You know, Ulkiar can still get on the scoreboard here and pinch this game. Well, I say pinch most probably deserved the way they played, to be fair. But, you know, Leeds are a top quality side, and they tend to pinch games like they are at this moment in time.
JJB goes down 9 metres from his own line. Rovers would love a mistake from Leeds now. They'd love a spilt ball. But Leeds Rhinos always seem to come good at this end of the season. That loss to Wakefield was very much unexpected, but this one is still not in the bag. Rovers are very much in this game, but 1 point behind, 7 minutes 10 seconds remain. Burrow takes the 2-man tackle. We're on the last. They'll look for Sinfield once again. Drills it downfield. It's dissected winger and fullback. It will go dead, will that one. 20-metre restart for Rovers, and I think Leeds are just happy to say, we'll form our defensive line, you try and go 80 metres.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happened there. You know, there was all set. Rovers were still trying to get back on side, so they want a bad kick at all, albeit 20 metres away from their own try line for Rovers, and that, you know what I mean? But Leeds, yeah, they're smart. They've been in these positions before, and they're now to win the game. But it's not beyond Ulkiar to get a result here.
So Rovers have possession, that's all important at this stage. Josh Hodgson needs support. He tries to fend off Danny Maguire. 3 Leeds defenders are there. The East End saw something they weren't happy about, or were. They're just trying to influence the referee. Taylor moves the ball on. It's with, was that George Griffin, centre field? It was indeed. It's on the last though. Morell needs to create. Dobson looks for support. He's put one short for Bengalia. That's gone up off the Leeds man. Hodgson back inside to Dobson. Dobson goes for the line. Oh, he needs to hold the ball. Rovers have got tackles in the bag. Withers goes himself, trying to pinch round the back of Carl Ablett. This could be it for Rovers. 5.5 minutes remain. It's with Taylor. Taylor, brute force, is over the line, but driven back by Leeds. A score for Rovers could steal the game. Oh, big decision from the referee. He says Scott Taylor has knocked that ball forward, and that's a massive, massive decision.
They did well there in OKR, trying to get the ball back. Unfortunately, Scott in his enthusiasm to try and get to the line and secure that win. He's knocked the ball on in the aftermath of the tackle, if you like, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you know, they're still in a good position, still 10 minutes away from the Leeds line, still 5 minutes left, so there's plenty of time for OKR to still get this game in the bag.
That was big though, Gary, because Rovers still had tackles in the bank and Leeds were really struggling on the back foot. It may just be the clock now that beats Rovers, because Leeds have got the ball to the midpoint in their half. Peacock had a great game once again as Peacock. Never fails to impress. He plays the ball to Burrow. Here's Jamie Jones-Buchanan, who takes a big shot but breaks his line, pokes his nose through. Burrow picks up, wrapped up by Hodgson, who missed him at the second attempt. Last tackle says Tim Roby. Kevin Sinfield drills one for position. One bounce into touch. Rovers need to race over and form this scrum.
Yeah, they're showing the sign of desperation now, OKR. You know, they're 50 metres away from their own try line. Leeds are just going to try and nullify everything they've got to offer. But I do agree with you. You know, there was plenty of tackles in the bag there for Scott Taylor just to go to the line, quick play the ball and get something on. But again, it's learning all the time. You know, he's still a young kid himself. You know, but he's been a big part of OKR side for the last couple of years, and you know, looking for some leadership from him.
So Rovers have 4 minutes remaining, possibly 2 sets in this game for the Rovers. But they're firmly inside their own half, and Leeds are in no mood to allow them to work any magic. It may just be throw the ball around time. Here's Morrell. He's had a good game of Scott Morrell. Dobson links up the play to Galea. Galea looks to be the go-to man. 10 metres from halfway. Griffin just charges in. Doesn't take a backward step, this young man. Needs to play the ball safely. Withers switches the play. It was a good switch to Galea, but Galea was watched by Peacock. Galea with a good offload. It's collected by Withers. Rovers, they've got men out wide. Mickey Payer, though, slips and takes the tackle, and it's the last one. Here's Dobson. Will he take them on? He dinks one over. The chase is on for Dobson. Oh, pulled back, pulled back, pulled back. Oh, referee. Should have been a penalty.
Well, certainly a shout for one there, Rob, but yeah, I mean, in terms of, again, he just had to try something on there and it didn't work out for him. And again, you know, what an exciting game. Less than 3 minutes left.
There's a lost ball, backwards says Sim Roby, and Maguire's launched the counter on the second phase. For me, Rovers should be lining up a penalty now, and Dobson should be putting Rovers in front. The referee didn't see it, apparently. 2.5 remain. Leeds with another score will put this one to bed, Gary, but such bravery from this young Rovers side this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely, I couldn't agree more with it. It's heartbreaking in a lot of respects, the effort one they've put in there. You know, it's unfortunate. I mean, they've done well to get that, because I didn't think that he played for it, to be honest, but you know, it's OKR's ball.
Unbelievable. Leeds saying that would play that, no chance. The clock has been stopped with 2 minutes 9. Lewis Sheriff gets the man of the match award. And Rovers perhaps are in last chance saloon now as Bengalia received the ball from the base of the scrum. A breakdown field is what Rovers need, as Mickey Payer tries to force his way up there.
So with 2 minutes left, well, what you don't want is anybody rather than time. What you need is a quick play the ball and get people on the back foot all the time. I mean, that's a good kick.
The kick, and it's for David Hodgson. It evades the left wing man, and that may be the final chance of the afternoon for Rovers. Leeds will certainly take possession from the scrum. A set of 6 will eat up 1 minute, and Rovers, Gary, with the clock not yet stopped, may just have had their final opportunity. 1 minute 26 remaining.
Yeah, most probably, but they can take out. I know they aren't getting no points on the competition league table, but you know, they can take certain big confidence from this. You know, the young kids are coming in and doing a great job on that, to be fair. So from that point of view, I'd be very heartened if I was Craig Sandercock.
So Leeds have possession and we only have 1 minute 16 remaining. Rovers need to force the ball out if they are going to launch a last minute assault on that Leeds try line. Peacock will put the ball up his jumper surely. Big shot goes in from Bengalia. We're entering the final minute of play. Just 1 point separates the sides. Rob Burrow goes down 5 metres inside the Robins half, slowly to his feet. Sinfield, was he going to kick to touch then? No. He passes to Bailey, who fends off Lovegrove. Sensible play from Bailey, in fairness, that Gary just said, look, unless you tackle me, the seconds are being eaten up.
He doesn't need to do anything other than, like you say, eat the clock up, and that's exactly what he's done there. Good kick from Sinfield again. You know, what's going to happen is they're going to be set and all that sort of stuff, and okay, Arsenal getting on line, onside, 26 seconds left.
So here we go into the final minute with Josh Hodgson, who feeds Sam Laters. It's going to have to be a Hail Mary to win this game. Morell feeds Dobson. Dobson wants a runner. He's got one in Reece Lovegrove. He's faced by Kevin Sinfield. Last play of the game for Rovers. It's last chance saloon. It has to go all the way across surely. There it is. That's the Hail Mary. Is there any pressure on the receiver? No. It's taken in by Ryan Hall. Boos from the Rovers fans, surely, about the decision when Dobson was clearly pulled back. But the net result is that 18-6 half-time lead for Rovers was overturned by the Leeds Rhinos. Well, the referee is getting the wrath of the crowd here at MS3 Craven Park. 18-6 to the Robins at half-time. And then that blast from Leeds, a try to Ryan Hall on 43 minutes on the back of a penalty conceded, converted by Sinfield, made it 18-12. Then Danny Maguire went in for his second when the Leeds Rhinos cut Rovers open on their right hand side, the Rovers left. Sinfield though missed the conversion. It was an 18-16 lead to the Robins still, but a 40-20 from Sinfield set Leeds in good field position once again, and Ablett powered over on the last. Sinfield this time did convert, and following that Ablett and Sinfield conversion, it was 22-18 to the Rhinos. But credit this young Rovers side. On the last tackle, the kick over in between the posts by Scott Morell was swooped upon by Lewis Sheriff. That converted by Dobson put Rovers back into the lead by 24 points to 22. Leeds showed Rovers some respect on the 69th minute when the penalty was awarded and Sinfield elected to tag on the two to level up the scoreline at 24 all. 72 minutes gone. Leeds got the scrum 40 metres out from the Rovers line. They just simply worked their way up towards the post. Sinfield popped over the 1-pointer, and that was the end of the scoring. Controversy as Dobson broke through with just 4 minutes to go and looked to have been pulled back by a Leeds Rhinos hand. Tim Roby ignored the cries from the crowd, the cries from the players, and heartbreakingly Rovers have gone down by just the 1 point in what has been a fantastic game. Another good test for the Rovers youngsters, but ultimately disappointment. Craig Sandercock's men went well and they have just come up short. Hulkingston Rovers 25, Hulkingston Rovers 24, the Leeds Rhinos 25.